What is up, Internet? It is Monday. It is the 7:34. I am Jason DeRusha. It is great to have you with us here on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. We know a lot of you are working from home today, or maybe you have school canceled, so we want to bring you up to date on the latest weather and the latest information, as we always do here on the 734. Start with a little bit of a dreary, drizzly, kind of a Garfield-esque Monday sort of day. A drizzle, maybe even some flurries around noon. 37 degrees the temperature, so, you know, it depends on the temperature and all that stuff. Meteorologist Riley O'Connor, as he puts together the 7:30 forecast for us. Some patchy drizzle tonight, and then the clouds should decrease tonight later. All right, let's talk about this. Lots of new developments when it comes to COVID-19. CDC issued some new guidelines. This was the big headline I took away besides the school closing here in Minnesota. But the CDC late last night said, look, if you've got a gathering with 50 or more people over the next 8 weeks, call it off. We're all still getting used to this idea of social distancing. I mean, I started working on some of these things last week, and some of these habits are a little hard to break, right? I am so used to shaking hands. How you doing? I'm kind of a hugger. I know you look at me and you think, there's that guy, DeRusha, he's a hugger. We got to knock it off, right? So we want to know, what habits are you finding hard to break? How are you changing your behavior in this era of social distancing? Share your thoughts in a comment on our Facebook page, and we'll share some of your thoughts coming up. It's tough to break those habits, right? To the latest headlines now. Schools are closing across the country and here at home. The whole goal, trying to flatten that curve and stop the spread of COVID-19. The governors in Minnesota and Wisconsin have ordered K-12 schools to close by Wednesday. Many districts are closing right now. My kids go to the Osseo area schools. They are closed. St. Paul closed. Minneapolis schools are still open. All the schools trying to figure out a way to let kids come back in if they need to pick up an iPad or a laptop, or maybe get a lunch, something like that. So everybody's trying to work it out. As part of the governor's order, those school districts do have to provide care for the young students of emergency workers. This is really fascinating, right? Because we want to keep our doctors, our nurses, our EMT people, our law enforcement officer, firefighters, first responders. We want to keep them on the job. If they have a child under the age of 12, maybe the teachers are going to be providing daycare during this time. Teachers we need at the schools to try to plan for distance learning, because we don't know how long that'll go on. So this is the idea, trying to keep all those folks on the job.
Well, we have enough on our minds right now and enough on our plates, so this removes that worry of wondering what we're going to do with our kids when we're at work. So it allows us to focus on our jobs.
So we have some deadlines as far as how long classes are called off, but the governor yesterday saying this is probably not going to be a matter of days. It may be months. In Minnesota, we've got about 8 days. March 27th is the end date, but we've seen things change very quickly. Boy, we're going to be watching closely to see what Vice President Mike Pence has to say. He's expected to address the nation later today. He's leading a coronavirus task force. But a lot of people looking to the federal government for a little help on issues like, should bars still be able to be open, where you have, 100 people piled all in next to each other? What about restaurants? So we expect some national recommendations to be coming from the vice president today. The mayor of St. Paul has declared a state of local emergency. So with the kids out of school, they're not going to be able to go to public libraries or the parks or the rec centers. Those are officially closed. Como Zoo is officially closed as well. Mayor there trying to do his part to just get people to stay at home. Peace Corps suspending its global operations and evacuating all volunteers. I heard from a friend of mine who's in the Peace Corps that she is coming home. Pre-market trading signals. I mean, did you need a crystal ball to predict this one? That it's going to be a bumpy week on Wall Street. Dow futures down more than 1,000 points. The Federal Reserve has cut interest rates to near zero to try to bolster the economy. So we'll see what happens on the Dow today. And hopefully get an answer to a good question I saw people asking, which is why do we even open it? Can we just shut that down too? I don't know. We'll see. There are now 35 confirmed COVID-19 cases in Minnesota. 2 new counties are impacted, Waseca and Washington. And we now know 3 of the state's cases were spread by what's called community transmission. That's what we knew what would come eventually. But it's different from, hey, this person was traveling in Italy or in China, or this person encountered someone who had traveled overseas. This is just community to community. Many Twin Cities businesses are cutting back hours. I have seen so many restaurants who have decided to close their doors altogether to keep employees and customers safe. And then there are the places that have encountered someone with a case of COVID-19. Mayday Cafe shuttered down. The restaurant said one of the employees tested positive for COVID-19. So no word on when that restaurant will reopen. A grocery store, Seward Community Co-op at Franklin and Riverside, had to close because a staff member there tested positive for the virus. It'll reopen after that store gets a thorough cleaning. We also know some restaurants taking steps to try to protect their business. And the only way you can really do it right now is by drastically cutting costs. D'Amico and Sons temporarily closing most of the restaurants they own, including the D'Amico and Sons, plus like Bar and Cafe Lurcat, the Brooklyn, so all the D'Amico restaurants except the one in Edina. Gavin Kaysen announced that his fine dining restaurants, Spoon and Stable and Belcour and Demi, all are closing for the time being. Now, Spoon and Stable will shift to like a takeout family meal type thing on Wednesday. Belcour's bakery stays open, but their dining room is closed, and they also will look at takeout starting Wednesday. Kaysen posted an emotional video on Instagram thanking staff and customers.
The only thing I can really say is thank you for supporting us. Thank you for being loyal to us. You know, we hope you come back and continue to be loyal. So rest, be with your family, be with your friends. Thank you.
Yeah, you feel for all these small business owners, whether you're a restaurant or a clothing store or whatever. Like, it's tough times right now. Several states have ordered bars and restaurants to close or be takeout only. That's New York, California, Illinois, Ohio, Washington State. All have restrictions in place. Let's talk about travel, new travel restrictions. Boy, this was supposed to be smooth, right? And it sure wasn't at major airports all around the country this weekend. International travelers who are coming back. The idea was, as you come into the U.S., we will give you a medical screening. And look what happened. This is Chicago's O'Hare Airport, having people who potentially have been encountering others with COVID-19 standing in groups of thousands at the airport. Just absolute disaster. Chicago's O'Hare Airport, the governor of Illinois has been justifiably freaking out at the federal government for the fact that this is happening. Let's show you MSP International. We are not one of the airports that are taking those direct flights internationally in. Normally, this is spring break go time, so you'd expect the airport to be at least a little more crowded than this. We saw very manageable crowds, and officials so far not recommending a domestic travel ban. But of course, a lot of people choosing not to go on vacation when the cities they go to have everything closed. COVID-19 was a major topic in last night's Democratic presidential debate. They changed the venue. Joe Biden, Senator Bernie Sanders, look how far apart they are. They're 6 feet apart. They were asked how they're protecting themselves, and both said their staffs are working from home. Their rallies have gone to virtual rallies, so we don't have all the crowds together. Joe Biden made a little bit of news as well, as he made a commitment about his running mate.
I commit that I will, in fact, I'll pick a woman to be vice president. There are a number of women who are qualified to be president tomorrow. I would pick a woman to be my vice president. Number 3.
So they moved that debate to Washington, D.C. instead of Arizona. Obviously, they did not have a live audience for that. Some important news for expectant mothers. A friend of mine was asking about this, and we have some early data from China that says COVID-19 is likely not being transmitted from pregnant moms to newborn babies. They say 3 babies born in Wuhan, the epicenter of the virus, tested negative. The mother of the 4th said, "No, I don't want you testing my baby," so didn't do that. None of those babies showed any COVID-19 symptoms, so that is good news. There are many Twin Cities restaurants who are stepping up to try to help out people in need in the midst of this COVID-19 outbreak. Hope Breakfast Bar in St. Paul. What a cool effort where they are giving families in need breakfast. They say the whole idea of the restaurant, they donate a percentage of profits to local charities, so this is what they're all about.
Set up to give any family in need during the crisis right now. Indefinitely we'll do this. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You just reach out to hopebreakfast.com and we'll supply breakfast for you. We'll do it till we go broke or this crisis ends.
Yeah, they say a lot of people have been asking to pitch in any way possible. Many donating money or donating time to help supply the food or even deliver it to people who are staying inside their houses. We have a link in this story on our website if you want to help Hope Breakfast Bar give back. There is a page on our website. We have all of these stories for you. So many resources, so much reportage. Go to WCCO.com/coronavirus. But I know you still have questions. And tonight at 5, we're going to answer them, as many as we can. To keep your family safe, to keep our community safe, we would love for you to go ahead and take your camera out, your cell phone, and record yourself asking the question, and then send it to us, and we'll get those answered. You can email it, tips@WCCO.com, or you can send it to me. I'll get it to where it needs to go. Let's get back to today's talker. Our digital guy, Eric, has been taking a look at what you guys are saying about some of the habits that you found challenging to break. Eric?
Probably the most common answer is not touching your own face.
Oh, the face touch is impossible.
we're still kind of learning how to not do that.
That's hard. Boy, I mean, I've seen things where people say, like, you should put, like, a little bit of ink or something on your finger. Your face would just be covered. It would be covered. It's hard to stop. I think about it now every time I touch my face.
Jesse says he's finding it hard not to buy every roll of toilet paper he sees. He might have to sell his cars to fit them all in his garage.
Yeah, it is. You see it, you feel like, oh, I better get this.
Exactly.
You don't need it. Just buy a bidet. I've seen a lot of friends buying a bidet. Problem solved.
Everybody has a shower, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Awesome says I'm a hugger, so I'm not hugging people.
I know. Giving up the hugs. I don't know. You got to find those social connections wherever you can. I was FaceTiming with a friend this weekend, and that felt good. Like, I just recommend, like, trying to find those face-to-face encounters wherever you can. Yeah, we'll be all right. We'll get through it.
Bow and a curtsy.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right, keep it coming. Thanks for watching. 7:34 here on WCCO. We'll keep you up to date all day, all night. That's what we do here. Crisis, non-crisis, we're on it for you at CCO. Have a good day, everybody.